my top 10 historical movies. First off, let me start by saying that this is my top 10 historical movies. There are definitely going to be some hot takes in here. Most of you guys are not going to agree with it, but these are all movies that I've watched time and time again, and I will continue to watch time and time again. So sit back and enjoy. Number 10, The King.
Many times have I seen men in your state. Nothing stains the soul more indelibly than killing. Never have I felt so vile, or stunned and victorious on a battlefield. The thrill of victory fades quickly.
The King is a grounded, gritty take on King Henry V of England. The movie follows Hal, a reluctant prince who wants nothing to do with power or war. When his father, the king, dies, he's forced onto the throne and quickly realizes that ruling isn't about honor, it's about politics and manipulation. As tensions rise with France, due to internal and external pressures, Hal is pushed into war, leading to the Battle of Agincourt. I like this movie because of the dark, gritty tone, and they really capture the period clothing and mannerisms. This movie also has epic battle scenes. When Sir John was swept away in battle, it was very thought-provoking, like he really got swarmed in the middle of a battle and had the same fate as many others on that day. Timothée Chalamet does a pretty good job portraying the emotion of King Henry during all of his life-changing events, but his accent was not the best. Overall, I love this movie, but there's too many others to rank it higher. Number 9, Outlaw King. Outlaw King tells the story of Robert the Bruce, the Scottish noble who becomes an outlaw after rebelling against English rule in the early 1300s. After Scotland is unjustly occupied by England, Robert is crowned
Son
king,
of David,
but almost immediately
King
loses
of
everything.
Scots.
Declared a traitor, he's forced into hiding, hunted across the countryside with only a small group of loyal followers. This movie is awesome in many ways. First of all, it's almost a follow-up to Braveheart because the majority of the movie takes place right after William Wallace was killed. It's also very similar to number 10, The King, because it's a dark, gritty, medieval movie with a darker hue throughout the whole movie. Netflix was onto something with these two movies back to back, but they must have completely gave up for some reason. They haven't just done anything like this since. Number 8, Glory. Glory tells the story of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry, one of the first all-black regiments to fight for the Union during the American Civil War. The film follows Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, a young Union officer tasked with leading the regiment. At first, the men are treated as symbols rather than soldiers. They're underpaid, overworked, and doubted by nearly everyone. As training turns into real combat, the regiment has to prove not just their bravery, but the right to be taken seriously as soldiers and men. Glory really stands out to me because it shows the real reality of the Civil War, and that the real battle is respect and dignity, not just the enemy. I also love the way they show how brotherhood forms through suffering, discipline, and shared purpose. A scene that really sticks out in my head from this movie is when Denzel Washington's character is being whipped for going AWOL, and he just stares intensely at the colonel without making a peep. But eventually, a tear falls. This scene becomes more impactful when Morgan Freeman's character tells the colonel he was only looking for some shoes.
The boy was off trying to find himself some shoes, Colonel. He wants to fight. Same as the rest of us.
Number 7,
Hold!
Robin Hood.
I'm curious as to what manner of creature is so fearsome that it takes 6 men to attack it.
Stranger, this is no affair of yours.
Will it retreat the devil himself? Let me see. Small boy, a truly dangerous animal.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is a big take on the Robin Hood legend. The film follows Robin of Locksley, who returns to England after the Crusades to find his land seized and the country oppressed by the ruthless Sheriff of Nottingham. Forced into exile, Robin joins a group of outlaws in Sherwood Forest and slowly builds resistance against the corrupt authority. I really enjoyed the vibe of the movie. It feels like the quintessential adventure movie, but it's just another actor with a terrible British accent. But I really don't think it's that big of a deal considering the lighthearted tone of the movie. Even though I love Kevin Costner, that accent really is terrible. I also think the Sheriff of Nottingham is an awesome character. Alan Rickman really plays him well. You really feel the evilness of his character. Number 6, Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp is a take on the life of Wyatt Earp that aims more for biography than action western. The film follows Wyatt from his early years through lawman work, personal losses, and finally, the events surrounding Tombstone and the gunfight at the OK Corral. This movie is 3 hours long, and it covers most of Wyatt Earp's life. Wyatt isn't a gunslinger legend yet, he becomes one over time. The gunfights are restrained and realistic, often quick and ugly rather than heroic. The real drama comes from family deaths, broken relationships, and Wyatt's gradual emotional hardening. By the end, he isn't triumphant. He's exhausted and shaped by everything he's lost. Wyatt Earp isn't trying to be exciting every minute. It's a myth-building film, showing how legends are created through years of suffering and survival, not just one famous shootout. Another thing I really like about Wyatt Earp is that it's different from other movies that have tackled the same subject like Tombstone. It really covers his whole life, not just little bits and pieces or just the gunfight at OK Corral. You know, he has a really big life, long life of a lot of big events. So I don't even think they showed even a fraction of what his life really was like, but it still did a pretty good job. And also, the movie soundtrack is pretty good too. Number 5, Gladiator.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Gladiator follows Maximus Decimus Meridius, a Roman general betrayed by the emperor's son and forced into slavery. He rises through the gladiatorial arena seeking justice and revenge. After Emperor Marcus Aurelius is murdered, Commodus seizes power and orders Maximus executed. Maximus escapes but loses his family and is sold into slavery, where he becomes a gladiator. As he fights his way towards Rome, he becomes a symbol of resistance, both to the crowds and to those who still believe in the Republic. I love this movie because of the way it shows revenge and the events that shape us. Any man whose wife and child are murdered and loses everything would do exactly the same. This movie also depicts Rome better than any other movie. The film builds towards Maximus's final confrontation with Commodus in the Colosseum. Gladiator isn't really about Rome winning or losing, it's about how legends are born when one man refuses to bend to corruption. Number 4, Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven follows Balian, a blacksmith who travels to the Holy Land during the Crusades and is slowly pulled into the political and religious struggle over Jerusalem. After losing his wife and child, Balian inherits his newfound father's title and finds himself in a fragile kingdom held together by uneasy peace. Extremist factions on both sides push for war. When the king dies and diplomacy collapses, Balian is forced to defend the city, not to win glory, but to protect civilians and preserve what little humanity remains. This movie is much better to watch in the director's cut. The cut that went to theaters cut out 45 minutes of important footage, not just filler scenes. I think the music in this movie is incredible. This is one of those movies where you want to be the character after the movie is finished. You imagine yourself in Jerusalem defending the city. Number 3, The Patriot. The Patriot is a Revolutionary War epic that blends personal loss with guerrilla warfare. Following Benjamin Martin, a French-American war veteran pulled back into violence when the Revolutionary War reaches his family. Benjamin wants no part of the revolution until British brutality costs him his son and destroys his home. Forced to fight, he forms a militia and uses hit-and-run tactics against a far stronger army. One of the great parts of this movie is watching his eldest son grow from idealistic volunteer into a hardened soldier. Benjamin doesn't fight for glory, he fights so his children can live free of tyranny. The Patriot is less about perfect history and more about why people are forced to resist. It's more important to think of the purpose and intent of the historical movie rather than following exact history to a T, especially when it's unimportant. I've watched this movie a bunch of times and it slaps every time I watch it. There's just something about Revolutionary War movies and shows that when it's done right, you feel that spirit of revolution. Number 2, Tombstone.
I'm real scared. Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes. All right, man, go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Listen, mister, I'm getting awful tired of your...
I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy. Oh. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Tombstone tells the story of Wyatt Earp. Just like the other movie Wyatt Earp, this one talks about his attempt to leave violence behind, only to be dragged back into the lawless town of Tombstone, Arizona. Wyatt arrives wanting peace and stability, but the rise of the Cowboys, a ruthless outlaw gang, forces him and his brothers into open conflict. When violence hits close to home, Wyatt and his allies hunt down those responsible. The film moves beyond the gunfight at OK Corral, focusing on the fallout of the fight and Wyatt's transformation into an avenging force. The line between lawman and outlaw disappears. Tombstone is filled with iconic lines and classic Western swagger. This movie was very difficult to put at number 2, but it's undeniably the best modern Western of all time. Val Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday is one of the best performances of all time. The fact that he did not get an Oscar or any sort of award for this is insane. Doc Holliday is just an unbelievable character. Number 1, Braveheart.
The prisoner wishes to say a word.
Braveheart is the best historical epic ever made. It's a 3-hour roller coaster of emotion. You feel the ups and the downs of William Wallace, and you truly feel inspired from his character. The music in this movie is unmatched. I've probably listened to the songs hundreds of times just on Spotify, just the soundtrack. I have probably watched this movie 500 times, and that's not an exaggeration. This movie has everything a movie would ever need. The only bad part about Braveheart is that it's only 3 hours long, and not 10. I think every award this movie won is completely justified. All the hate on this movie is forced. Who cares if it doesn't follow the true story to a T? The movie is pure cinema at its finest, and people don't know how to appreciate a good thing. And I honestly encourage anybody who disagrees with me to go into the comments and let your voice be heard. Whether you disagree that Braveheart is a good movie or you disagree with something else on this list, literally anything, just let me know. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you're a real one. I appreciate it. At this point, click the damn button.